So I came home. And first of all, it was freezing. I started sneezing as soon as we landed. Second of all, surprising my family was hilarious. My family thought that I was going to miss my brother's birthday. Mum was pretty pissed off. I walked through the back door. And first, Mum just looks at me for what felt like ages, but it was probably just a second. She just looks at me and I was like, oh, that's kind of an anticlimax. And then her whole face, she was just like, Stu was doing the dishes and he literally dropped a cup. And then I got like the nice stage of being back and everyone's really nice and everything's kind of new and exciting. Once that kind of all wore off, back in like freezing cold Melbourne, didn't have a job, was about to start uni again. I know that I'm so privileged, I totally get that. Just to be able to have gone overseas, to be able to be living in a place like Melbourne, I know that. But that doesn't, you know, my brain doesn't care about that. I was pretty depressed. The main thing was that I just really wanted to get back to Asia and I have no money. I came back with $5 in my account and mostly worrying about money, but I don't know, maybe just coming back and being responsible for more people than just myself, because while I was away I got to just live by myself, just focus on my own well-being and happiness. And then when I get back here, I'm trying to make sure everyone's okay and all the people I care about seem to be struggling through this awful Melbourne winter with all this awful stuff happening. And it became a lot, like a lot of stress. I'm about halfway through my last semester of uni. I'm graduating this year. Yeah, and then I don't know what then. There are many things I love about this city. Direct sunlight. Ho Chi Minh is just covered in this haze and it's warm, but there's hardly ever direct sunlight. And here it's cold, but the sun is really beautiful and everything's so crisp. I'm sure things will get easier once it gets warmer and once I have money. I am feeling really limited and trapped by the fact that I don't really have any money to like save to go anywhere. It's also been very odd living with people again because I got so used to living alone. I've come back feeling less tethered. It only took 3 months for me to consider Ho Chi Minh City as my home. I guess I've realized that the world is my home, which is a really lame thing to say, but one weird thing I was thinking about the other day was I was listening to the birds and I thought, these birds are always chirping. I've heard them since we moved here. And then I thought, but it's not the same birds because birds don't live for that long. It would be different birds, we just don't notice. And then I thought, how long do pigeons live for? And I looked it up and they live for like 4 years. And I thought, where are all the dead pigeons? And when they die of old age, where do they go? Why aren't there just more dead birds around? Do they go into like some cave outside the city? Why do I never ever see any dead birds? I mean, I see birds that have been run over, but never any birds that just die of old age. Anyway, so I googled it. Birds like to die in safe places because when they're dying, obviously they're not very strong and they're vulnerable and they don't want to be eaten alive while they're dying, which is fair. So they go into like vents and attics and abandoned buildings. So I think my cave theory was pretty on point. Anyway, that's the sort of shit that like I've come back and my brain is thinking about all the weirdest crap. Sometimes it's, you know, pretty interesting and I write it down, but sometimes it's just weird shit like that. Anyway, if you wanted to know where pigeons go to die, I just need to finish this semester, work out what I'm doing, save some money, and get out. That's my plan. Anyway, that was my update since my last vlog, which I think was like 3 months ago. So that's all from me.